was iBuyPower Masters, the avenue by which Cloud9 accessed the Intel Extreme Masters Oakland. They managed to get second place after being unable to finish that grand final despite some crazy results. You even saw a glimpse there towards the 16-0 of Tyloo, a team that have already lost their life over here in Oakland, unable to make it happen, a 0-5 out of Group A. We're into Group B now, and Sam is joining me, otherwise known as Dazed. And the first port of call when you talk Cloud9 NiP is, first of all, you have to kind of highlight how these teams match up. This is what's so interesting. When you look at them on paper, you've got a scary C9 and an NiP that already bested Mouse.
You know, not to sound too much like a C9 fanboy.
Do it.
But I really think they match up well. And one of the reasons I think they match up well is because on C9's T side, they will always take advantage of what is given to them. Now, what I mean by that, if NiP doesn't have an opper and they know they're not opping, economically speaking, they'll always take advantage of that. They'll, you know, if it's Dust 2, they'll go straight up catwalk, not really worrying about middle nearly as much, and things of that nature. If they know you're playing cat, they'll go straight out long, and they're very quick to react to things once it is given to them. Now, what does that mean for NiP?
Right.
NiP, the reason I think it works well against a team like NiP is because NiP generally doesn't over-rotate too much. When you see NiP play, a lot of the time, like their anchors really stay pat. They anchor. Right. They don't over-rotate. They really trust their teammates a lot. And I think when you play against a C9 team, generally when you see one action on that side of the map, it's really good to soft rotate over there and even soft rotate from your anchors as well and get there really, really quickly. Because whenever C9 does do an execute and they actually hit the site, they come full force. They go very, very quick. You know, Stewie's never going to be afraid. Sure. There could be 4 smokes. He's going for him. He's going. Yeah. So they lead the charge very quickly, and those over-rotates are something that really combats that type of play style.
Yeah, and I mean, Cloud9, but the way in which they access this event, I did talk about it already, but I mean, a 16-0 versus Tyloo, we even got to see how much the loss in the grand final affected them. This is something you told me off air. I think it's worth reiterating here. Now they head up into an NiP, is that loss did not go easy onto Cloud9. They didn't just shrug it off. It seemed to have quite a profound effect on them. Bit of a reminder.
I know they were frustrated by it. I mean, they definitely were. You know, they wanted to win.
They knew they had the spot, and so the argument would be, oh, okay, they weren't playing. You know, there wasn't enough drive. But you're telling me that was
no, they were absolutely playing to win, trying their absolute hearts out. And they were frustrated. They were visibly frustrated on stream. I talked to them a bit afterwards, and they said, you know, they're a little bit frustrated because on Mirage, especially Immortals, they were just so hard to beat. Every time we went middle, Henny was just in our face. It was so hard for us to counter, you know, the things that are happening. And yeah, they did not want to lose that one.
Yeah, and we'll talk, of course, about the fact that Cloud9 found success at the Pro League Finals. That's a big talking point as well, but I do want to first highlight their opponent. NiP, you have just seen them, it's the Swedes, and they have already taken Mousesports out of the equation with a convincing 16-8 scoreline. But this is a scary roster of historical names that Cloud9, no doubt, are going to have a whole lot of respect and preparation for.
Yeah, and the thing I'm going to be watching for with NiP is how they rotate around the op. If it's going to be Pit full-time, like we just saw Overpass, who was their main opper there. Yeah. If they're going to move it around, and Forrest is going to be opping as well. From my time with Pit, you know,
you want a rifle in his hands.
Jacob, yeah, I always thought his rifles were super crisp. His pistols were super crisp. Of course, anybody with great aim can op, but to be a main opper, it's much different than being a hybrid.
And that's something I'd like to explore now. I mean, this is a discussion we have to have because you've got Skadoodle. He is a dedicated AWPer. It's been his only role, his primary role for as long as we can remember. And so my question to you is, there has been a lot of kind of criticism surrounding Skadoodle. It was, you know, towards the end, early stages of 2015, we were praising Skadoodle as being one of the best AWPers in the world, you know, and that's gone. I mean, you probably play a whole lot more with him and have a whole lot more insight than I do.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of experience with Ska, and it's pretty. It's
what's funny is he's sitting there like, what can I say? What can I not say?
You know, Ska, I'm telling you right now, he has been the most impressive player that I have seen play any video game in my entire life.
Most impressive.
I swear in my life. Yes. I have never seen people do the things that he could do at a consistent level. Right. Where has that gone? I don't know. I know a little bit of the problems that are going on, and it's some of the same issues that I was dealing with as well. When it comes to Skadoodle, he's kind of a little bit like Forrest Gump. Okay, now let me finish.
We have to understand this one, okay?
You know in Forrest Gump when he's in the military, and he's just like, the guy, he just does everything perfectly, but he has to be told what to do? That's how Skadoodle is. You have to tell him what to do,
right?
And then he just does it. But that means Stewie has to be like, Ska, go here. Ska, go here. Ska, do this.
He needs
and
structure.
Stewie's not that, exactly. He needs that structure. Now, Stewie is not that type of leader. That's not the way he wants to lead. He wants to lead with a much more free-flowing play style where you tell him what he wants to do, and then he tells everybody else to do, based off of that.
Skadoodle is like Forrest Gump. So, Skadoodle and his box of chocolates aside, there's a Dust 2T side that we've got to address over at the Telestrator.
Yeah, so this is going to be going back to what I was talking about, where on Dust 2 especially, this is a map that we could see. We're definitely not going to see Nuke. That's Cloud9's ban.
But Dust 2 is a possibility.
Yes, Dust 2 is definitely a possibility. On Dust 2, we're going to see them go out long A. Nobody's playing it. And immediately, we're going to see Cloud9 take advantage of that and cross the sites with the CTs playing top A, playing Catwalk, which will be smoked out. They'll definitely smoke deep CT spawn and utilize Molotovs in order to take it. But the thing you want to notice when we watch this clip, as we're going to roll it, is that Cloud9 immediately goes into this. So watch when they're long A, they take control of it with these 4 players there. They have a lurker who is, I believe, no, it's not Skadoodle. I think it is
so they take Pit.
Stewie. They take the Pit, but look, as soon as they see it's clear, what do? They run up. And look where the CTs from SK are. They're not rotating, and they're not over-rotating like NiP is going to need to do in order to stop things like that. They're already in the site. SK has a late rotate. C9 immediately takes advantage of the space they're given and attacks and attacks and attacks.
So they're just coming in one almost unpredictable wave. Most CTs, is that you saying that that's like a kind of a...
Okay, so this is what generally happens, right? You do a long take like that, and there's a pause. There's a wait, generally speaking. And during that wait, the CTs can then be like, okay, wait, they have long control. Now let's send this. Let's maybe push B tunnels. There's no wait with C9. You have no time to react when you're a CT. They immediately go into the next option.
You're getting me hyped for this game. You are. And we have to bring up the maps nice and quickly. It sounds like the knife round's almost done already, so this will be a quick summary. It looks like we're going into Train, the first of IEM Oakland, or at least for us here on the main stream. I think we did see it on the B stream, excuse me. But yeah, so Train's going to be coming in. You're nodding. Now, we have seen Cloud9 find success on Train before, but NiP can certainly bring quite the fight. NiP had a choice to take this into cash as well, which needs to be noted, bearing in mind their success on that map.
Yeah, I think Train can definitely go either way. I think these teams are pretty evenly matched. I think overall NiP is definitely historically a better team, but you know,
in current form, I need a prediction.
In current form, oh dude, I'm going C9.
He's going C9 all the way.
Yes, Henry is pissed about this, but I swear if you say anything bad about NiP, this guy is like ready to throw punches.
Right. So it goes from a C9 prediction to a 100% NiP prediction. It's going to be Henry G, who sees them going 5-0, and with Cowboy Sado as well.
It's just
yes, that's right. The thing is, Henry, that I don't understand why you're upset about that. I know you made a bet with Moses about NiP going 5-0. Well, I'm not in on that. So, no. But Cloud9 is your other favorite team. You're like a fanboy of both these guys.
This is
so
true,
how can you be upset?
NiP, they're my favorites till the very end. Cloud9 are number 2. So this is a great game for me. I'm glad I'm casting it. And we'll go straight into this, Matt. Train, interesting one to kick it off. I think it is very even. I do actually favour Cloud9 a little bit on Train, actually, I have to say. But NiP, Pit back in, they're going to be revitalised, willing to show us what they've got available now with this full roster, I'd say. It's not going to be a stand-in playing for us today.
It's interesting. And all the speculation about them perhaps keeping Michael that Pith wouldn't return, that's gone. He's back. It's an interesting thought as well. I mean, Disco Doppelin was given an offer before all of this happened, and he turned it down. Now with Fnatic, NiP always seemed to surprise us with rosters. But Pith's going to be the head charge at this point in time with armor. He's got a decoy to work with, but he wants to be first in. Down the ramp already, watching flank as Forrest and Stewie. Spools not checked. 2 headshots already. Can't find the third. Freiburg's going to respond as a result, but it's automatic to follow up, and it gives Cloud9 a hefty lead. Bomb goes down. So watch for that early buy on round 3, perhaps, but that's only if they can't close it out. And Forrest is the last alive. He's managed to slip down the ramp. They know he's there. Good headshot on automatic. He's known for pistols in the past. It's faded away, and CSGO, but he's pulled it back again to make nothing go down. Skadoodle fortunately saves the round, and he's got the kit.
So close from Forrest there. 3 headshots, a 4 versus 1. Had he pulled it off, that would have been godlike status. Like he said, known to being one of the very best pistol players in the history of CS. Maybe not so much CSGO, but that was very close indeed. Good start from Stewie, though. It's the B play from NiP. It's quite standard these days for a T side to actually go there towards the B side. You almost guaranteed the bomb plant regardless if you win the round, which happens there for NiP. So we expect them to bring out AKs in the third, but maybe I speak a bit too soon. Okay, so this idea from NiP right now, give Forest the AK. He's purchased himself an AK-47. It just means they'll still be able to buy next round, but he's trying to do economical damage towards Cloud9. So next round they have AKs, maybe one Tech 9 if they don't win this round. Still a chance that Forest can do some serious work with this AK. We'll see what it can do towards Ivy. But looking at the buy for Cloud9, 4 rifles then. They're preparing for these AKs in the third. So we've got 2 Famis's, 2 M4s, Shroud on the MP7. And looks like it will be some sort of outside split coming in here from Main and Ivy.
And Forrest is going to start to push slowly toward the Ivy position with that AK-47. Needs to find the opening pick. Automatics to his right, top train, but he's already spotted by Shroud. That should bring Automatics' attention back into it. Nade down. MP7 prevails. It leaves Freiberg in an awkward position as he wanted to follow up and bust out with his teammate. Potential to pick up a gun, and he couldn't even get that far because the kill never came from Forrest. But look at Get Right and Exist. They've managed to find kills coming out from the other side of the A-bomb site, down from Pop Dog. And a good shot from Get Right from far. It's going to put Shroud down to 24, but the HP is not better for them. It's 19 for Get Right, 5 for Exist, and already Exist rotating back away from the ladder. Can't get out of that doorway, and SH wants to try and come back in from A main. Bomb down in the site as well, just to the right of Get Right.
At this point, Get Right is trying to delay. It seems, unfortunately for him, though, Exist drops at the same time. Pretty clean round overall for Cloud9, considering there's an AK out. It's not actually the AK does the damage. It's a Glock and a PT50. Forrest certainly weakened them slightly, but here comes the buy on the third. Like I said, one player probably with a Tech 9 here, considering they bought the AK in the second round. So that's going to be Freiberg by the looks of things. But still, they were trying to do damage to the money of Cloud9 going into this round. They got 2 kills in. Not really enough to do that much. You can see Shroud's actually got the AK. It's actually upgraded from the MP7. But this is the real first interesting round, I'd say, as we go into round number 3 here. Freiberg, Tech 9, looks like they're favouring towards inside. Not going to be a rush necessarily. He's trying to get control of those upper halls. And Stewie going to be challenging, but unfortunately for him, Get Right's waiting, nails the headshot.
Nails it indeed. Good accuracy again from Get Right. We saw a hint of it in that last round. And I was going to say I'm a bit surprised to see Freiberg being passive with that Tech 9, but it was the angle, the distance that they needed the AK in place, and it works out. That's going to give them upper. Skadoodle's going to get forced off. He was spotted at the back of that bomb train, so they'll know he's rotating around, but catches off Pith inside the smoke. Molotov out in the default plant position, so they've got to go to the side of the train. Forrest finds Skadoodle before he can do anything further. That plant should come in any second. They've waited to go back to default, so they want to play the high ground. But the forward push, that's the big thing. Cloud9 won't be able to get in. Automatic's going to have to back away. So NiP is going to pick up round 3 already.
Nice play there from NiP, getting that first pick. We saw Stewie going aggressive towards the upper halls. The idea behind that is obviously get information. If it's not a rush, not a lot of presence there, he can hold it, have 4 rifles outside. He gets his head blown off, though. Nice shot from Get Right to open things up. Quite calculated, didn't completely commit at that point, but they dropped some smoke, split between lower ramp and upper as well. Skadoodle did a good job to actually slow them down. He dropped the incendiary on the bomb train. He's trying to actually delay the plant coming in so his teammates can rotate. Gets 1 kill as well. Unfortunately, though, the aggression coming from NiP, that's so key when you go towards the inside side. When he's pushing down to the choke points towards the inner sight and actually managing to stop the rotations, which Forrest and Exist do oh so well there. And it's going to be a little pause. I assume it's technical at this point.
I assume so. I can't quite see what. Yeah, I think 1 minute. KK. I don't see who's saying what. But yes, we are going to have a pause early on. 2-1. They've got a bunch of them, but I can't imagine them using that early. No. It's back and forth.
I'll have a look at the money quickly. Sorry, I'm going to look a little bit unattractive for the camera here, but it's fine.
It's so good. It is a technical pause.
Okay.
That would have been so good if you just fell and did that.
There's no money available for Cloud9, so it might be double eco sort of territory, so they could actually force into this one, because it could be double eco regardless, so you might get 5-7s out, try and force around it, but after this technical pause and everything, I think they'll probably just take an eco, get some deagles and stuff, so I'm going to be back into the shot now. There you go. So yeah, NiP bounced back on the third after losing the pistol. Pretty expected on train. It's difficult for the CTs to hold them off, especially when they have the AKs out. It's normally the favoured weapon. There's long-range exchanges. The CTs don't have the AWP out yet. So don't necessarily have all the utility as well, but it's a great shot from Get Right to open things up there. And it will be 2-1. So Matt, we didn't have much time in the pre-game, but obviously my allegiance sits with NiP. Your prediction's going to be more like you got a cowboy hound today. We didn't really address that.
I put it on in the makeup room and was like, you know what, the mustache, it suits. I'm going to wear it.
Okay.
Both teams are impressive as of late. There's no question NiP with Michael Lele was playing very well. They won a tournament. They won SLTV. Yep. They put up some decent results elsewhere. They've been more consistent, I think. But bringing Pitt back was always going to be an asterisk, more so around the AWP position.
Yep.
But it's hard to argue with Cloud9's form.
Sure.
You know, they obviously played well last weekend.
Just won Pro League,
Well, I was going to go, going backwards from that. I mean, last weekend was well, but Pro League was the highlight. That's the big one. They finally win an international tournament. Doing it against SK in front of the home crowd as well in a convincing fashion. It may have taken 3 maps, but all 3 maps favored Cloud9 at a point, and I have to sit with them. I really do. I think their skill right now is just so good. Now the question is on Train, how aggressive can they be? They talked about, Days talked about taking advantage of map control as soon as it's presented. It's hard to find map control on Train in quite the same way.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Well, we are back into it, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be round number 4. Like I said, not really worth the force by all things considered for Cloud9. So they're going to take a little bit of an eco here, a couple of, well, one PT50, I should say. That's the only thing they've really invested into this round. Stewie goes down to 22 HP quite early on. Very disciplined, slow round from NiP here, just fitting things out, seeing if there's any aggressive pushes coming in from the CTs at this point. They don't want to give anything away. No one needs to hunt for frags at this point. Just want to wait till about the 40-second mark, smoke up, go together, trade frags. Should be quite a simple procedure considering the buy they're up against, but they're making sure they don't give anything away at this point. So Cloud9, 5-man stack actually towards outside here. All 5 players towards the A bomb site. They're going to be making sure they can try and take a bit of a gamble here. Problem is, they have no idea what's going towards inside. So we can see one player, Forrest, he's towards the A ramp, or B ramp I should say, by himself. He's smoked down there as well, seeing if there's a reaction to that. There's not been, but he's still going to be committing towards outside. Doesn't really matter either way. They should be having quite a clean round regardless.
Pretty passive. Obviously the damage on Stewie is significant, but with pistols and no armor. Anyway, good shot over the smoke to try and spot Forrest, but good shot in response to take down Skadoodle. It's going to get right the advance down toward the hitch. Comes through Sandwich, and it's going to be automatic outside of the smoke, spraying already, anticipating his rotation, and they're actually going to get him as a result of that as well. Exist closing the kill. 2-2 instantly. Cloud9 should be in a position, not a best position, but a position to buy. 3,900 only for Stewie, but Skadoodle's already gone for the AWP, and he's got a smoke.
Does indeed. So Skadoodle on the AWP, we did discuss him in the analyst area before. Definitely a hit-or-miss player. Seems to be in relatively good form at the moment, though. NiP, first showing saw against Mousesports, a very one-sided game. 16-8, they looked very strong there indeed. So Train, not a map they're particularly known for being amazing at, but they certainly can play it to a decent level. A fast play coming in from NiP, though. Straight out, it's going to be Get Right. Looking for this first frag. Spots a couple of players, but can't land the shots just yet. Skadoodle opens things up.
Good shots to follow up from Get Right and Freiburg, though. That pulls it back. Nothing's going to make a change, but look at Exist. He's inside the smoke. He's gotten in behind them, but he's a little bit lost himself. He's got to try and find his way back through. In fact, he may go for a full flank here to the inner bomb site, and then they pull it back, but the problem is it's down at Sandwich.
This is actually perfect from Exist. Doesn't necessarily have to pull the trigger there, but decides to get the advantage at this point. 1-2, they know Stewie's alive as well. Shroud just on a Famasit, but Stewie in a great position to find the next frag. Can't really decide between Connector, though, and he's going to be missing that first one, but still alive somehow. Should be punished, surely.
Oh, that flash nearly caught out. I think it was Exist as well, but it nearly caught out both players and gave him another escape. Missed both shots in that opportunity, and he nearly gave himself a position where he was facing both. He was watching for the player coming through the smoke, but NiP, again, with Exist pushing through, gets so much out of that.
It's nice to see NiP using this looser play style. Obviously, when Threat came in, they were very structured, going from one extreme to the other. Exist was known as being a very loose caller, and the Threat was brought in to actually stabilize things, and now he's not so much part of the lineup. He's still involved loosely, I think. He's actually like the guy who's kind of providing information, analysis, data for the opposition, but in terms of calling, obviously, it's Exist. Threat doesn't even come to the events anymore, but we have another pause coming in here. This is technical. I think I saw a bit of server lag going on there. So the point we can finish all the points now. We can go really into it. So yeah, it's that first real gun round there. You've obviously broken the economy nice and early. They're going to be forcing back in. Like they do have enough for M4s and AWPs, but don't necessarily have like all the kits, the incendiaries, probably have smokes. That's why they're going for that faster play at the start. They haven't really got much to lose. They've got a nice bank of cash there. NiP trying to set the tone of the game. Nice fast round in the opening segment there. Actually clean up pretty nicely. Exists pushing for the smoking connector. I thought he was going to CT spawn at that point. I thought that'd been a really sick play.
It looked like he was, and I was the reason it would have been sick. The reason I was questioning it was because the bomb was down at Sandwich. Would have meant the other two players would have had to sit pretty stagnant for quite a period of time.
Sure.
And as you said, he didn't need to take the shot. He could have showed discipline, but it worked out because he takes the first player and gives room to his teammate.
The smoke's there as well. At that point, he takes the attention away from his teammates, and I guess that works in both regards, right? He could have waited a little bit and see if he could be the snake in the grass, but still, he gets that kill and actually ruffles up the other CTs a little bit there. So I actually don't mind that either way, but still, 5 PD50s and 1 kit. That's Cloud9 are bringing to round number 6 here. Still one of the most CT-sided maps we have in the game, I would say. Obviously, Nuke was catching up, but Nuke seems to be stabilizing a little bit more these days. And it's actually starting to be quite balanced, it seems. But still, NiP now should be going up to 4-2. PD50s can have some impact. They're not going to be stacking fully towards outside this time. Pretty standard setup, 3-2. And we'll be Stewie and automatic towards that inner side. But I think it's more of the same from NiP at this point. Hold up, wait for the aggressive pushes to come in from the CTs. Smokes out, Molotovs, flash in, stick together. Doesn't really matter where you go. It's just about the fundamentals and making sure if anyone goes down, you're getting that kill in return very quickly indeed.
Just top of the ladder already. Smokes down sidewalk. Let's just go over. That'll force Stewie back. P250 only. 3 down, damage done early, but Forrest low. If that had hit one more bullet from Stewie, he could have gone down, pushing through. Nothing's going to find 2. A third of the smoke, a chance, not a chance. It's taken away. Pith turns back in time. 17 HP for Pith as the final 2 players from NiP rotated around to go upper. It cost them dearly because they weren't in position in time to cover off their teammates. Down to a 2 versus 2, and HP actually favors right now Cloud9, but they haven't picked up weapons. They don't have armor, and Freiburg's going to take down Skadoodle, leaving just Shroud.
Well, here we go then. Shroud, PD50 on the upper ramp. He has got Get Right on 17 HP. Finds that first kill as well. Freiburg, though, actually in some good form at the moment. Still quite an interesting battle. Shrago is under 50. They know where each other are right now. 10 seconds remaining. Freiburg, the pressure's actually on his side of the server.
He's got to grab bomb. He's done that now. But as you say, 5 seconds, has to commit to this. Goes for the safe plant. He's not quite showing to Shroud. 16 HP. It's going to give him a bit of a chance to advance up the sidewalk. He's trying to crouch so as not to be spotted and catch off Freiburg, who's going to peek toward the tanker, but just sees him and fires in with the AK.
He's planting on the 4-second mark there as well. He had no idea Shroud was pushing him. That was actually a real ballsy play. Had to go for it, obviously, but this was the difference maker. Nothing. He spots an opportunity and he strikes at the perfect time there. Almost got that 3rd kill. One of those bullets hits, he's taking down Pith as well. How do you get that kill? That's pretty much the round secured. Unfortunately, though, couldn't find it and Get Right Freiburg able to squeeze the round out, but still quite an interesting prospect there. 4-2 double orb setup comes for Cloud9. This is where they'll be at their strongest. It is a glass cannon for Skadoodle, not such a massive issue on the CT side of Train. Obviously lots of long range duels, and it's normally one bullet that's going to be the difference maker regardless. So we go into one of the most expensive gun rounds so far, and it's going to be another fast play towards outside. And Skadoodle waiting, trying to find that first shot, which he hits and takes unexist.
Oh, knows the second player was there, so tries to fire blindly in and hope that down that very linear corridor he could find it. He's going to Molotov back off toward Pop Dog. It's Pith that wants in from A main. Shot from Skadoodle turning around. Good awareness finds Freiburg. Second one as well. Get Right goes down to the back of the train. That's pretty much round secure. And it will be followed up by Stewie after Forrest gets only 1. Very good job from Skadoodle on the AWP to have awareness that Ivy was a threat.
Yeah. He's very good at hitting targets in front of his screen. The criticism he gets is normally on the T side and actually being dynamic and trying to be assertive in terms of like finding frags. If players are running towards him, he's one of the deadliest orbits on the planet in terms of just nailing shots that have to happen, and that's a great demonstration there of what he can do. 4-3, Cloud9 claw one back. Still have the double orb set up. There's quite a lot of residual cash for NiP. I think they have maybe one more buy after this. Actually, he's a little bit low. We've got 2K on Exist and around the same for Get Right as well, but 5 AKs this round, no AWP coming up for NiP, no real AWP on the team, no superstar AWP. They've got Forrest and Pith who can wield the weapon, but not really to the same extent as the likes of Skadoodle. And interesting enough, Shroud will be the secondary AWP here for Cloud9.
So set already for smokes.
Yeah, NiP have got a very good inside execution. We've seen it many times before. Lots of Molotovs, flashbangs all over the place. Very difficult to hold off, especially don't hit this first shot.
Skadoodle's going to try and play on the railing. Flashes come through. There's a gap he can see, but the more flashes that come in, the harder that is to hit. And they've delayed that push from upper. They're already in the lower part of the site, and they're going to catch off Stewie, trying to push back up. Bomb's going to go down as a result. Freiburg's close, gets close up. In fact, all the way behind. They don't spot him. Missing shots, though. That's a bit of a problem. Does turn around to catch off Shroud with a nade out. And it's good enough to keep them distracted and away from pushing the front of the site where Bomb is down. Nade in, further damage, wraps back out, able to take Skadoodle, and it's a cleanup from NiP. And even though he didn't find that first kill, creates a lot of space.
Creates space and finds a rotating player as well. I think it was Shroud who was coming for the connector with the orb. Couldn't really do much about that. So yes, he whiffs a little bit there from the connector, but he'd already done such a great job of getting that position. Not really much Cloud9 can do, and that's a pretty harsh reset as well. They buy some PD50s and some Deagles here, but that's actually a really cool call from Exist there. If you think about it, he knows there's a double orb set up against him. He does a full execution like that. AWP is out of the game at that point. There's Molotov, smokes, they can't have any vision. There's flashes as well. Bombs down cleanly, can't really retake with the double AWP setup. That's when the AWPs aren't really that viable. So that's actually really cool from Exist to bring that to the table. And he's broken the economy, as I said before. So should be a round going in favor of NiP, but we did see how close it got with that PT50 round before. It's a pretty standard setup here for Cloud9. One in the connector, and we Stewie towards inside by himself. But the Zeus is out, though, for nothing. So what has he got up his sleeve? He's actually one of the few players we see getting consistent kills with that weapon. Yep. Especially when it was broken. He used to love bringing it out. Yeah,
in fact, you could argue that they qualified for Cluj and Boca by using it. They got 2 kills on Cobblestone, picked up guns that then clutched them out the round with. So I think it was like a $100 investment at the time. $200 investment, they won the round and basically qualified.
Yeah, it's just one of those weapons, if you're not too familiar. It means you can just sit in a real tight corner, hope the T's don't check it or pre-fire it. Like the position he's in right now, find one kill, pick up an AK, and it's like a snowball effect.
Waits, got it. There it is. Now he's got the AK. Not enough time to draw it out. It's exactly the play you were talking about. Lovely shot from Pith. As he finds automatic way back toward CT entrance to be. Shroud inside smoke, the last hope for them with the Deagle from range at least. PT50 for Shroud, or excuse me, for Skadoodle won't be able to do much more. And I think they're just going to sit for exits, hope that someone pushes forward and maybe grab a gun out of this round itself. Pretty much gone, no kits, as the bomb gets planted with 4 players still alive on the NiP side.
Well, there we go. Some interesting chat going on the server right now. It always provokes conversation, I think, the Zeus. Easy frags, nothing says, as he finds that first kill. Here's the replay right now. Like I said, it's not really part of the game as in terms of the meta and stuff, but it's if you can see an opportunity there, that's perfect execution with it. Slow motion as well, of course. And it makes a nice noise when you kill someone. It'll, I like that part.
Yeah, that's true. I think it was, I forget whose stream it was that they were mocking. I think it was Steel's, that they had to make their own impression of that noise when they used it every time.
Rico, it seems, for Cloud9. Money's a bit of an issue on the CT side, especially if you can't find multiple rounds in a row. Not really too much to report this round, I'm afraid. It's just going to be Get Right. Completely wrecking them on the outside bomb site. They find 1 kill. Shroud, unfortunately for him, knows this could be the last player remaining. Can't do much about it. 7-3. This game's starting to get out of hand here for Cloud9. Money's starting to get back in their favor, though. Do they go for the double orb setup, though? They know they're vulnerable to those executions, which NiP have shown already. Need to be finding those early frags. I think they just go for the single orb setup here. That was working well for them. Skadoodle outside and having the more dynamic rifle formation as well. I'd like to see Cloud9 maybe bring something a bit more interesting to the table. They're playing quite a standard game so far. We see a lot of the top teams, especially like the likes of SK, like pushing towards inside, or Ivy, trying to find that first frag, and you can't really allow a team like NiP to have all the freedom they want on the map. You can't allow them to do a default into an execution. The players are so skilled in the team, you can't really allow them to have that much space. You need to be locking it down and surprising them somewhat, I would say.
Skadoodle with the AWP. First is already on the side. Watch above, surely. That's going to be countered out. Finally, Automatic finds the space, turns back, nothing. He'll find the opening to shut down Exist on the way through. Follows it up against Freiburg as well, and that's going to clean the round. Automatic and Nothing doing all of the work. And it looked a little bit threatening in the fact that Forrest got so far deep inside of the site, but they countered it off quite well.
Yeah, you could see how much space they're finding. NiP in a very loose playstyle right now. They've got a ton of money here. They've got a great advantage on the T side of train. They can afford to be a little bit looser at this point, so they're actually just trying to run into open positions there. But luckily, we do find Automatic, a player in its absolute prime right now, exploded onto the scene a few months ago and has really turned a lot of heads, I have to say, and a great performance from him and showing us what he can do with that M4A4. Round number 12, no AWP still for NiP here, just going to keep with the AKs and still looking to keep the pace a little bit faster. Get Right going to be pushing out through the smoke from main entrance. Has he navigated his way out? Yes, he has. So this is the idea now. If Get Right can do something towards outside, his teammates will be going towards inner, it seems, and he'll just try to find 1 kill here. That's his objective. Find 1 kill, force a rotation, and his teammates will set up towards inner.
Get Right halfway up on the train spots. 1 nearly spray transfers back, but nothing. Counters it well. You pointed this out, Bomb, and our observers spotted it as well. Going toward B site, Skadoodle missing a shot. That's going to get 2 inside. Follows up, can't find. It's a lot of pressure on Stewie as well. As he finds himself in the site, tries to push, Bomb already down, but gets there. What a shot from Freiburg to turn it back, and Stewie, a bit of a miss, gives the opportunity to him to allow it. And that brings Skadoodle back into things as he gets back over to the left side, down toward Tanker, but it favors NiP tremendously with a bomb down. Nothing finds a shot. That gives Shroud a bit more movement to push up toward the lower ramp as well. Skadoodle, he'll spot and turn an aggressive Forrest position, but that's covered off in the end, is only able to trade him back, though, because they lose nothing in the process. Shroud's getting closer to the bomb. Skadoodle's going to have to hold him off. Molotov's well-timed. He's got a kit, though. But I think, yeah, it's going to be enough time. There's no time at all for Shroud to get on top of that.
That's a bit of a nightmare situation there. 2-on-2. You think, yes, we've got a chance. We can do a little fake defuse here, make them face, but perfect time to drop a Molotov there. If the inside side has that upper door and you throw the bounce Molotov off there, lands exactly on the bomb pretty much every single time. And the CDs, if they don't have a smoke, can't really do too much about it. So there it is. What a shot that was from Freiburg. I thought Stewie had him dead to rights there, but he steps up. A player, obviously, a lot of flack over the years. I'd say 2015, probably a year he wants to forget. But 2016, we kind of spoke to him and kind of dropped the bubble stuff. He was like saying, this is the year he's actually putting the hours in, which is mad to think he wasn't, but now he's actually really trying to get on the level.
Well, so let's clarify that. When he says putting the hours in, I think he went from like 80 hours a week, which is still a lot, to like 100.
Right.
So they're still putting in time. He's just putting the extra effort in now.
But yeah, obviously he wants to prove the critics wrong and he can still play at this level. And so far, 2016 in tournaments they've been winning, he's been shining brightly for them, I have to say.
Forrest, AWP trying to find an opportunity. So him on the weapon this time. Remember, we talked about that, the asterisks of bringing Pit back in and not knowing who was going to be primary for them.
This is the same thing again, though. Get Right, so much space here. Luckily, those shut down, but Freiburg, another quick kill in return. Equals so far, 3-on-3 going towards Outer.
Great trade coming in from PopDog, but the problem is that flings the bomb slightly forward, so they have to commit right away. They're able to pick that back up, 3 versus 3, but the boost coming in over Ticket Booth is actually quite good because the smoke, we're going to not cover that off. And somehow Forrest spots it coming through. That's going to allow the bomb plant Forrest gets taken back, but favor to NiP, at least for a moment's time, and they do follow up. That's impressive, because he actually shot at Skadoodle, hit him on the sight, and the stray bullet went over and hit Skadoodle. It wasn't a collateral, it was actually 2 in 2 bullets.
I want to see if we can get that from Pitt's POV. I'm not sure we can, but still, that looked pretty impressive. The fact it was a 2v1 and he managed to close it out that quickly. Pretty nuts stuff there, but 9-4 now for NiP. Like I said, get right. He's just finding position and trying to control anywhere on the map he can. Pushes him towards inside his time, doesn't find the kill, but he's keeping things interesting towards inner. His teammates strike immediately towards outside, and once again, they've broken the economy of Cloud9. It's a bit of a nightmare now, pushing towards inner. This is why NiP sit in this defensive stance when they know the money's low. CTs have to try and find frags at the start of the round. They're going to be pushing that lower ramp. Forrest, though, he's going to be in quite a deadly position for them if they dare go any further. I don't think they can justify us to this point. So they're going to actually just sit at the lower ramp and be smoked out for now. That smoke can be used for the CTs to jump up onto the upper platform and try and find something. But unfortunately, you don't really have the weaponry. You're going to have to fall back and try and hide in those sneakier positions. Nothing once again with that. Zeus, he managed to get a kill with it before. What do you find?
I would have be checking those close angles this time.
Might be this time.
He does change it slightly. It is over toward B, but he goes to the upper
Yeah.
position instead.
Well then, more of the same. Fill the map out, stay together. Forrest, though, by himself towards lower. He wants a hunt for information. It's quite safe. I guess he's got the smoke on lower ramp. He's going to be flashing in, see if he can spot anything there. Doesn't find anything just yet, but more of the same in terms of fill the map out, smokes out, Molotovs, flash in, stick together. Doesn't really matter how much money they spend in terms of getting the utility. They want to guarantee the round. They know the money's low for Cloud9 here to stick together and force the frags out there. It exists, and Freiburg opening things up. Rotations coming from the CTs. Good timing, though. The Zeus is back.
Oh, and he's got the AK drawn this time, but aim punch a factor. And speaking of Pith getting that final kill, just to put an emphasis on the economy, we've got to look at it from his perspective now.
Okay.
Think about the fact that this just broke them and what was a 2 versus 2. So he doesn't even realize it. Fires at Skadoodle and look over toward the back alley. Boom, second bullet hits him.
Wait, what?
That's his teammate that went down on top of the bomb train.
So he didn't even realize he killed the second guy there.
No.
Just like, it was pure luck. Loving it.
That's actually amazing.
Pure
Breaks
luck,
the
of course.
economy, gives them the 10th round.
Breaks
and now
the
on
game.
round 15, they're limited to just a UMP as well, still on Stewie.
Well, here we go then. I think Skadoodle, he was trying to go towards that platform, the orbit. It's actually smoked out. That's a nice play from NiP. We talk about this a lot. It's a great position for an orbit to be. It means you can actually have him there by himself, and he can have 4 rifles outside. But if you get smoked out, he can't really justify the rotations. So Stewie has to stay with him for now, and it will be. This time, Forrest seems to be a thorn in their side. It's either him or Get Right every single time, finding space on the map and just pushing them back, bleeding out utility. More of a default, those who are in round number 15. They have got 4 smokes remaining, and Molotovs as well. Still a lot of execution potential here.
Forrest again just jumping on that railing is going to try and spot deep inside of the site. Exist meanwhile. Smokes through window, and with 3 players out toward A main, I think that's telegraph for us. I say that though, and they have rotated the bomb back through the upper hallways over toward the ladder position, so they could go still back to B if they wanted to, if they can't find the opening they so desire inside of this A site, with automatic above the smokes as well. Not a bad position to find himself in, considering he's got a bit of a line of sight toward that entry position. Exactly that. Takes down Exist, brings nothing back out. That drops bomb. They're going to commit 36 seconds. Forrest behind E-Box does pull 1 back, but can't cover off the fact that Automatic's spraying down his teammate on top of the trains, and that brings the rotation in from Skadoodle. Automatic's low, so he'll go more passive, but Stewie's able to pop back out and make it 5 rounds for Cloud9, so 10-5 in the end.
This is not the Cloud9 that win tournaments. This is not what you used to be seeing in the last few weeks from them, or even the last couple of months. I want to see what they can bring to the table in the second half. It's not over yet, but let's hope they bounce back.
And I think it's possible they can. We'll be back in a second. Welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters Group B round robin play. It's Cloud9 NiP. And it's a 10-5 halftime, but Cloud9 a little bit slow with the economy, I think, on that CT side.
Yeah, they look a little bit, I don't want to use sloppy, just a bit unimaginative. They're not really stepping up. It's not the looser play style and confident guys we're used to seeing right now. It is a bit outclassed by NiP, I have to say. But 10-5, still redeemable. Not out of it just yet. And in the pistol, it could be anyone's game still. Let's see what happens here. We have got Stewie. Superman, he's going to have the Tech 9 and armor. They've got 2 smokes as well. Looking like some sort of outer execute here. Normally smoking the left and right-hand side of the train. The bomb train, I should say. Not just a train, lots of those. And at that point, trying to get the bomb down as quickly as possible. Hitting the smokes and the flashes as well. That should be a hard commitment at this point, considering Stewie's position.
So he's going to go, flashes in, head down to dodge them from his team. Nades go back at him, though. They know he's pushed into that, and the Superman's dead before he even gets toward any opponent. Smokes out in front of him, and still he's been found. Forrest, again, is going to follow that up, and Forrest is looking alive in these pistols. Now we've got something to draw back. They've picked up that Tech 9 on nothing. He finds one with it, but it's Skadoodle instead doing all of the damage. It's still not enough as Exist and Get Right survive the round and make it 11 for NiP. A bit of momentum, and just 5 to go for them.
Yeah, well, Forrest with 3 kills on the T-side pistol, and he finds 3 more in the CT side as well. He's looking lively today, managing to get 1 through the smoke there as well. A great silent USP user, has to be said. We see him do this a lot these days, manages to find 3. Very calm and composed. It's always something you have to know when watching him play. It is going to be a force fight from Cloud9. No bomb going down. That's why I talk about the inside bomb side being favored on the T-pistol. You're almost guaranteed it in terms of finding the trade kills, and then if you don't win the round, you get that plum regardless. Not really the case on the outer bomb side. So it's going to be 4 sets of armor. Tech 9, Deagles, and Skadoodle, of course, on the scout here. Just trying to find that first frag. CT side of the map, they've got 2 rifles, 3 UMPs, and a little bit of utility. Gonna just be trying to hold off the terrorists there with some early smokes. And it does manage to land the first scout shot there. This is going under 31 HP.
Skadoodle's trying to use every little bit he can.
Anything.
Yeah, the slightest crevice that he wants to peek through. On the scout, he's going to jump back away from this bomb. Intentionally dropped out of danger, but look at the IV position. 3 players coming down. It's Freiberg that needs to shut this out. With the UMP as well. Careful not to spam too early. That puts him down to 10, so he's got to reload. And they're here. They're going to go. And he's wide as well, which means he's going to have to fall back further. He's trying to bait them in slightly. He does have his teammate beside him. Can't exist, but he's lower on HP. He's got to pull them in. First kill already. Now that brings the FAMAS into the fold. Second kill goes his way, and Forrest will pop out to take 1 at A main. It's nothing remaining in this position. Skadoodle's found 1 at the front of the site. Actually, I take that back. He's fired all the way down and found Freiberg with that scout. This gives nothing a bit of room to wiggle with, but watch Skadoodle because he's about to get flanked out. Gets back into sandwich just before he spotted. Tags up an additional player. Their HP goes so low. It's Get Right that he hit, but he's able to turn around still after taking nothing.
Yeah, so it's actually a nice little setup there from NiP. The reason Freiberg sits a bit wider, obviously he's up against like Deagles, Tech 9s. He doesn't want to stand in a pre-fire position. If the T's come around and pre-fire that corner, which is very common, he goes down. He stands a bit wider. Yes, it's a bit more of a commitment in terms of them coming out of a flashbang or such, but it means he can get 1 kill. He's baiting it Exist as well, so that's why he takes a bit more of a risk, that angle. It pays off. Exist cleans up, and it's going to be the second round going in favor of NiP, and adding the total to 12 to 5 here. Has to be a full eco for Cloud9, unfortunately for them, so we're looking at 13-5 quite early on. So 1 flashbang sometimes can be enough to get a bomb down. We've seen that many times, actually, even with just Glocks. He flashed towards in over the top of the windows there, and managing to get a bomb down. That'd be ideal right now. I'm going to have a look at the money for Cloud9 myself. So they're going to get $2,400 next round. Skadoodle currently sits on 2,200, so he's going to be struggling to get an AWP out unless he finds a kill here with the Glock. Pretty unlikely, considering Get Right's there as well. They get a bomb down, they get an AWP next round. So that's the objective of this one, just to try and get that bomb down.
Get Right with a closer angle with this UMP as well. Stewie wants to get around the corner. Found already. Headshot successful. 20 bullets left in the mag. No reload required, but he's going to have more company in a moment. Oh, spots the hand. Nade goes in. That's perfect. Lands on nothing. Reloads very curiously, though. I just said he's got 20 bullets left, and he gets pushed back in from the ladder with a downward ramp position from the Cloud9 players. A bit peculiar from Get Right, but they deny the plant just barely as Freiberg comes back in and catches out nothing. So no additional money, no additional income. They're still going to have money to buy, but it hinders them tremendously in bringing out an AWP.
So close to getting that bomb down there, but a touchdown from Freiberg denies it, and like I said before, Skadoodle just shy of the 4750 required for an AWP. It's so many different variables going into this game. Like I said, if he got a Glock kill, that would have been enough to get the AWP out. They got a bomb down, they'd almost guarantee it, but he has to stick with the AK. 5 AKs, they have got smokes, no Molotovs here. Not such a massive issue on Trey, but it means the execution has to be a lot stronger with those weapons. It's not a map like Cash, you need lots of flush out potential, but Get Right, auto shotgun. The Alligator's out. We'll
As
see.
Chad would say.
As Chad would say. And he's pushing towards the inner bomb, so they've heard that actually being fired now. So the surprise factor has been eradicated. It's an interesting buy. And now he kind of has to recalculate himself. They're probably thinking, well, inside's probably a good place to go. He's got an auto shotgun. But Pitts not letting that first shot. He gets taken down for it.
Yeah, costly. So far into the corner that they just tag him up. The movement mechanics get hindered. But Get Right's still here. And as you say, the Alligator, they spot him up. They're able to push him back. And baiting out that first shot, Stewie wraps in. Shroud helps. Down he goes. Forrest, this is timely, though. This is actually so timely. Shroud's ready for it. If he wins this duel, it's going to be problems inside of the site. Goes back. His teammates come up the ladder as well, so Exist can cover off his flank. He can focus on trying to get back inside of the site, but Freiberg down. Exist too. It's Forrest pincered in these upper hallways. Bomb, in fact, the one saving grace in this is inside of the bathrooms and could be caught low HP, but nothing is able to swing out in time.
Almost lining up for him there, but quite a success from Cloud9. There's a little bit of a bonus round there for NiP. You see that the UMP, the Alligator, we call it that lovingly. It's actually just the auto shotgun, but seems to be a thing
It's
where...
because on the HUD it looks like an alligator.
Right. We were calling it the Alligator at one point when Alu was...
Alu.
Yeah, that was quite good. Good day.
Do you know that he likes to play at car?
Yeah, so I've heard. But Freiberg just on the deagle. How much money has he got left over? So he actually was feeling the burn a little bit more in his teammates. I guess he went down a couple more times. So they have got the AWP. 3 M4s, deagle on the hands of Freiberg there. So it's going to be a nice full buy for Cloud9. They do have the Molotovs this time. Probably more of a default. And we'll just be having more of the same. Trying to gain some map control towards that inner area. I think it will be Shroud trying to hunt for that. It's the automatic main entrance. Trying to see what he can do to get him some positional control towards that main entrance.
Automatic tries to get on top of the pallet, put himself on a pedestal, and worship the headshots from the AK. No one presenting himself, though. Not so easily, at least for Automatic. Skadoodle's there as well. Again, no AWP. It's 13 for the Ninjas, 6 for Cloud9 as they picked up their first of the second half. Our lovely radar, the simple radar.
Yeah, it looks nice, right?
I think it's great. That indicates height a little bit better, and I like that you can see who you're spectating in the corner as well when it's in the small mode. Obviously here, Skadoodle is the one. The chosen one, as you would say.
Yeah, why not? Well then, much slower paced round than what we've seen throughout the entirety of this game, I have to say. It's going to be nothing. Using smokes and Molotovs to flush out his CTs on the other side, get some attention as well. His teammates actually tilted up towards main entrance, but Forrest, he's got the AWP. He needs to step up this round, and he kicked it off in style as well. Takes down Stewie with a headshot there with the AWP, looking for more towards Ivy. It's good timing. Can't nail the shot, though. Nothing finds him.
And thankfully, that smoke is out on the other side because Freiberg could have easily walked back in to trade that. Nothing's able to spray through, and brilliantly comes inside of the site to find Exist as well. Automatic's going to take advantage of that space created and come in through main, cover off the bomb plant. One player remaining. Nothing. Hits Get Right. It's now Pith.
Okay, nothing. Just going to find all the
round
kills.
from him.
Yep, just get everything, why don't you? That's fine. I don't mind that at all. It's going to be nothing now. With his 4th kill, picks up the AWP as well, and just Pitt remaining. He's going to be towards Ivy. The bomb will be planted. Very unlikely he can do anything with this round, I'm afraid. He's going to be trying to save the M4. I think the money's getting to a point where they're going to have to actually maybe have a double eco here, and I'm afraid they're going to have $1,400. If you can save the AWP, that makes it interesting. It's a bit too much of a high risk to try and pick it up, though. So yes, $1,400 next round for the Ninjas. So a chance for Cloud9 to at least close the gap here. Not necessarily get back into the game, I think. That's a bit of a bold statement, but it's going to be at least 2 rounds going in their favor. Pitt saving M4 could make things interesting. We have got Forrest in the charge at 22 frags. He is actually top on the server. Not far behind him is Freiberg. Get Right as well. Shroud, he's looking very quiet today. He's on 6 frags. Stewie, one of the stars of the team, is on 7. But nothing. Let's talk about him this round. What a fantastic work he did. His teammate went down as well. He strikes at the perfect time, finds both kills in Ivy, picks up the AWP, finds a 4th as well, and a 3rd, obviously. But there it is. It's going to be a bit of a commitment here from NiP. Like I said, it's double eco regardless. They're going to invest a bit of money. So PD50s, a couple of smokes, and some CZs as well. And Pitt with that saved M4. He brings that into 21.
Stewart 2000 trying to find a headshot toward the smoke at upper. No one really there, but might as well pre-fire it. No harm, no foul. Same mechanic toward the lower position. Looks for a little bit of luck, why not?
I think at this point they know the money's been broken for NiP. It's going to be more the same, just what NiP were doing. Feel out the map, make sure there's no aggression coming in, get control of inner, smokes down. It's a 5-man stack from NiP towards out of sight. It's the same sort of risk that Cloud9 were taking in the first half, and nothing will be distracting towards that. He finds 1 kill, spots a lot of action out there. So that's the call for his teammates to strike. Still a 4-4, so NiP will find another weapon, I think. They've got the pit M4, there it is. Get right picks for an AK here. Probably just want to save those weapons. Very unlikely they can win the round, considering that the T's have time to push down like Stewie has, and they've got Molotovs and smoke still. I think they'll just try to look for some exit kills and try and hold on to the weaponry they have. Let's keep boosting it up every round. Every eco, just try and find another gun, and it'll all come together at one point.
Freiburg's trying to sneak in quietly behind a smoke that's soon fading. They've got Get Right to an AK. They've had that carried over M4 from Pit. Unfortunately, that's pretty much all they're going to have because Get Right can't find anything sneaky. Or rather, excuse me, Freiburg can't find anything sneaky inside of the site. Now, I'd say that's pretty much all they're going to have, but they walk out to the exit position where Exist is covering off. He's got an AK. Anticipates they're trying to boost out to catch him off, but I don't think they're going to go any further. They're not going to hunt this down. They know they've got the economy still weak, so they can concede the AK, or at least they want to play the long game in doing so.
3 weapons picked up overall for NiP. This actually makes the buy a possibility now. Like I said, it was going to be a double eco, and now 3 weapons, might as well buy up into it, see what you can do. And they're going to be adjusting themselves right now. Freiburg yet to buy, still on the USPs. They're not going to be forcing in. He buys a Deagle in the end. So they're not forcing into it necessarily. They're actually making a very wise and informed decision, I would say. Actually going to be making sure they win the game instead of trying to chance their way into it with these force buys. Yes, they have weaponry, but they want to keep the money strong and actually win gun rounds instead of allowing Cloud9 to break them down in terms of the money game. So that's actually a good call, I think, overall. Compose stuff.
Freiburg with the peeks out toward long position. He's the one on the Deagle out of all of this. Forrest as well as on a CZ, but as you said, those 3 guns, they keep them, they don't go for anything further, they don't try and thin themselves out.
Yeah, like do you know what I mean? They could force into it and maybe win the round, but then they break their own money.
This is the kind of reverse mentality of what Threat brought to them, because remember Threat used to say don't chase.
Yeah.
Let the opponents keep guns, and in keeping guns you bait them into buying when they really can't afford it.
They're not taking the bait.
Exactly, they're not taking the bait, which is the exact thing that he's trying to say don't do. Let the teams do that. So they've learned from their own coaching in that sense. Stewie's going to go and take down Freiburg. That'll start off well, but remember, he's one of the pistol players, as too is Forrest, so they stack up that Ivy position. It's still a 4 versus 3, and with 3 guns, there's a chance until Stewie gets in a prime position, catches off Exist, and Get Right on the rotation inside Z connector. It's down to Pit. Now this gun's been held for 2 previous rounds. It may not be done just yet. It's got 2 in this round, and he's going to swap it to the AK. Still no bomb plant. And Pitt's got himself a good position. Now he's tagged up to 20. That becomes a problem, but he's still able to rotate in behind the train and knows one's at E-Box. They're still pursuing this outer bomb site. With 26 seconds, they're going to have to commit to it as well, and he's got position on top of the train. One thing he doesn't have is knowledge of the second player.
It's very unlikely he can do anything with this. He doesn't know where the T's are right now. 15 seconds remaining. He might assume they're going towards inner any moment.
They're going to be lined up. Oh, tags down Skadoodle into, I think, 11 HP. Yeah, 11. So that, oh man, that could have been so sick if he pulled off a 1 versus 4.
Not meant to be, it seems, but this was the play for Stewie. Now it's the Stewie. He had a very quiet first half. I think it was a 7 frag into this one, but on the T side, he's getting a bit lively now and finding headshots and pretty disgusting ones all over the place. So now it is getting into a point of being an interesting game. Like I said, that's why NiP didn't force into that last round. They actually managed to get 4 M4s and AWP in the hands of Pit, who seems to be the pretty much full-time AWP at the moment since this lineup, I guess, change, or what do you call it? Like
Restore roster.
Yeah. That works. It seems like he's actually committed to the AWP role now. But we'll see what happens. Forrest had a couple of shots of it at the early stages of the CT half, but Skadoodle will be ready to rise to the challenge. Another fast play from the T. Stewie finds another opening kill. Make it 2. Headshot on towards Pit. Could be the round over this point, but Freiburg is fighting back.
Fighting back with Forrest until Skadoodle shows up. Get Right's managed to sneak in behind Stewie with a quick fashion, but it's down to a 1 versus 2 against him, and Bomb, he's got it on the ground, which gives him a bit more space. That elbow, oh, nice. Go for it. Go. I don't think he will, because he wants to keep the gun out to catch off the second player. And Shroud turns back to check it, and Get Right looks away. That's unfortunate timing to give Cloud9 their 10th round.
You know what would have been so sick about that as well? The secondary player was actually towards Ivy. You'd have had them both lined up had he got a little bit closer. But Shroud checks it just in time. Now here's the kills from Freiburg. Lovely stuff there. Catching that on a quick replay. And it will be double digits achieved for Cloud9 here. They really are getting back into this game, and I think it could go the full distance. We have seen quite a couple of overtimes here so far, especially yesterday. We'll see what happens. As we go to round number 24, it's going to be PD50s and 1 Deagle available for NiP. They get an equal exchange over the start. Forrest finding Shroud. Still, a lot of work here to do, I'm afraid. At this point, Cloud9 know it's an EK, they can slow things down a little bit. Let's try and find one more frag and then disconnect to a bomb side.
Push up inside of the B tunnels right now. I think that's Get Right. Doesn't like to go for the flank, but he was in a prime position to try and do so. He'll fall back instead. It's nothing to find Forrest. Gives them the advantage. Bit sloppy from Shroud on the first spray. Made that trade possible, as you mentioned, but now it's Exist to follow up and make this back to a threes. Now, the problem is they can't get guns out of it, and automatic covering off the angle if they did want to push up catches Exist in doing so. So every time NiP do a good job at getting a kill with a pistol, it's pulled back from Cloud9. The problem is they're slowing it down. They've got to commit here eventually. At a minute, there's still a bit of time to work with, and Stewie's going to start to probe out the B site.
Yeah, it should be round over this one. The fact that the bomb's going to be planted and the CTs haven't picked up a weapon. It will be Freiburg fans towards connector, and now it will be Get Right doing some damage out towards automatic, but the bomb's been planted, and they know exactly where he is. So at this point, the T's not really overcommitting. Stewie, though, this time is getting a bit awkward, but Get Right can't find his shot, and he's really taken down eventually. So 11 rounds. For Cloud9, the money, what does it have for NiP right now? It's going to be, yeah, this would be a decent buy there. They could bring out a double AWP setup if they wanted to. 13-11 though, this was a very one-sided affair. After winning the pistol, they were up 13-5 at one stage, and now haven't found a round since, and it's going to be Cloud9 in touching distance of actually equaling things up. Double AWP setup does come in, so it will be Pit and Forrest.
And this is where you say you've got to go to a double up when you need to change something.
Yeah, it's when you get, like, sometimes it's when you're doing very, very well and you pick one up from the T side, or when you're very desperate, and I would say it's more the latter at this point. Can't really get anything going since the pistol rounds, or the pistol round and then the subsequent anti-ecos worked out for them. Haven't really done too well in the actual gun rounds themselves. So here we go then. Double AWP setup. I'll have a quick look as to where they'll be positioned. It will be Pits towards the inside site and then Forrest towards Ivy. Just trying to have two turrets, and this could work out quite nicely. Oh. There it is. Stewie goes down.
It's slow on that peak. Considering we know it's a wide peak position.
You want to go out very wide and cause the pre-fire to come in and allow the CT to miss that shot. He walked into the crosshair almost. That looked a bit too easy for Pit, I have to say.
Yeah, well, let's start with the double op. That's favorable for NiP. We'll leave it at that. A Shroud. Top of Pop Dog. Doesn't want to go down. There's been no aggression, I have to say, from the CTs on either side to get into that position to try and cover it off aggressively. As we often see teams try and do. Snacks is known for it, for example, from Virtus Pro, but he still doesn't want to jump down and count on the fact that no one will be there, so they'll go down with two of them, make sure that it's at least tradable. No one there, push through. Flashes a second one now coming out from the window. Is going to let Shroud get toward the E-box, but look how passive they're playing. A line inside of the site. First one found. Exist goes down. It forces them back over toward the hell position. Smoke out as well. Shroud's in a good spot with 17 HP to cover off nothing. Going for the bomb plant already. As finally Pit finds an opening. Skadoodle, poor timing, pulls out a... Wow, his nade, and all of a sudden... They get in position, and NiP walk in. Cloud9 never anticipated them to be so close.
Yeah, it's that those smokes, actually, to the detriment of Cloud9. They put them down to lock off the Ivy position, actually, and they push through them. Freiburg finds some very good timing. Finds the AWP first, and the second player was on low HP as well. It was Pit to find the opening two frags for NiP. The Cloud9 executing towards outside side actually looked very good for them as well. I think this was supposed to be a replay map. Oh, there we go. We're back.
There. Yeah, so that was Freiburg when he pushed back in, caught Skadoodle jumping across. Actually, went to his, I said nade, but he went to his knife to try and jump faster and got caught.
There we go. At least you let everyone know.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
Well, another buy for Cloud9, of course.
I'm just here for those of them watching in black and white.
All playing at home.
That's true. They could be playing along at home.
Okay, then. So, this could be the round that decides whether Cloud9 can get back into it. There still is residual catch. Maybe I'm going to be ahead of myself. They have got another buy in the bank. So, actually, if Cloud9 can win this, it actually forces maybe another reset for NiP. So, a big round regardless. And we'll see whether Forrest can find any luck here towards Ivy. Stewie and nothing waiting on the other side.
Bless you to Observer, who has a nice sneeze behind us and startles us both. Forrest, AWP looking out toward Ivy. Smoke's going to land off to his right. This will be the isolation play with the Molotov on the left. You'd think they want to wrap through that smoke. Good flash in. And Forrest, they now know he's in the corner, has a problem. Spots the gun barrel. They're trying to paint the shot, nearly line up in doing so. And somehow he still hits the shot on Stewie. But if you look at the obituary, it reads more yellow than blue, and that means the favor is still with Cloud9 as Freiburg gets shuffled out from the flames behind the train. And it's Get Right 1 versus 3 on the bomb site, with bombs still in the hands of NiP, or excuse me, of Cloud9 as well. They're going to commit to this, though, with that position of nothing inside of Ivy. It's a false sense of security because Get Right finds two above the smoke. It's only Skadoodle remaining. He's slipped by the Molotov, though, and this could lead Get Right into thinking he's over towards Sandwich. Fortunately, the timing's favorable. He gets around the train before the shot came in from the AWP at E-Box, but now it's a game of wits And Skadoodle's got a lineup. He's going to hold this angle as well. AWP, I'd say that. He's actually walked out. GetRight's going to be in prime position, 1 versus 3, and he'll put NiP on map point.
What a sick round from GetRight there. So composed, known to be one of the best clutches in the game. And he just absolutely wrecks it in there. Look at this play from the bomb phase. A 1v3, you have to say nothing there. Some weird awareness. Doesn't even check towards the other side. That's the shot that really got me going.
That's why X-Ray needs to be off on replays. How sick is that?
That's so good. And yeah, outplays Skadoodle there. To be fair, Skadoodle didn't really have much to work with. Time is ticking away. He's got an AWP trying to break that bomb down as well. Hoping GetRight walks in his cross. That timing's not really going in his favor. But there it is. Map point and indeed match point for NiP. A fast play coming in from Cloud9. They're known for these fast and loose plays with Stewie and Automatic leading the charge and finding close range frag. They're taking a lot of damage here, especially Stewie goes down to 2 HP.
Stewie, as you say, 2 HP is still going to try and push up. They'll get information. It's able to be traded. In fact, Skadoodle hits exist. Forrest, though, comes back. His AWP now finding 2, and it's the advantage to NiP on what could be the last round of the game. I know you're happy about that, Henry. Shroud finds GetRight, though. This is going to give them position inside of the site. Turns back, finds Pith on the rotation. Now it's suddenly boot on the other foot. And the HP is favorable as well because it's Freiburg on 40, Forrest on 17. Shroud might have 7, but again, he's got an additional player on his side. Shroud doesn't even care about HP. He's got Forrest down as Freiburg tries desperately to pull this back. Inside the site already. He's able to cross over from hell. No one's spotting him in doing so. This could give him an advantage going towards Skadoodle. It will. He catches him out. But now he's going to watch from Sandwich because Automatic's in the open, and he'll find the kill.
There it is. Quite an explosive round there. Like I said, Cloud9 known for being a very talented roster now with like the addition of Automatics and Slemmy left. They've a real tight little package there and really good at doing the faster pace, tighter strategy in terms of actually staying in a little smaller formation, getting out towards the other side on train and actually nailing most of the shots there. It's almost Stewie and Automatic, like I said before, and they managed to find round number 12 here. And it's still going to be a fourth by NiP. They still have 3 in the bag in terms of actually trying to win the game and just close things out. So they're not going to force into this. Freiburg brings a scout to the table and just pistols across the board for the rest of his teammates. So double upset on the T side. Interesting. Definitely something we're seeing quite a lot of, but there'll be Automatic and Skadoodle this time. Doesn't seem they have a dedicated secondary AWP. We'd assume normally Stewie, but we've seen Shroud on it. We've seen Automatic now, and nothing. He picked on it before as well, so you know, anyone can have a go, it seems.
Freiburg forced back by the Molotov. Can't hit the first shot on the scout. How important was that clutch? Not only saves the game, but breaks the economy of NiP. It could bring us to 15-13 if Cloud9 plays this correctly, and so far they are. As Freiburg will go down, Exist going to try and hug the wall, hope that they don't check that far into the corner. But even if one doesn't, there's 2 there. And it should be traded relatively easily as Exist gets closer and closer with that P250. Spots the gun barrel. How wide does he want to go? How much does he want to give away in trying to find this shot? He's got an additional teammate with Forrest trying to bait them in. That's going to work out. Automatic goes down. Now he's in the open. Exist finds 2. And that should never have happened. That should have been tradable. GetRight may have fallen in the meantime, but that gives them an AK on 100 HP. Exist does not have armor. And they're going to cross on this. Now, no smoke out. Low HP as well. They just barely get Stewie in a position with the bomb.
Yeah, that could have been so scary for them, but they managed to find the kill. And that should be the danger eradicated now. This is going to be Forrest remaining with 22 HP. But yeah, jumping that bomb across, Existing to land 1 bullet there at the AK. Certainly a possibility. Had he have got that, really could have been a scary moment for Cloud9 overall. But still, I said it should go the distance. It's certainly proving to do so. It's round number 29 now. Here's the replay of Exist. Fantastic pistol work here with the PT50. Like I said, that's a weird move from Automatic, running out like that. A little bit careless, I would say. Not necessarily required, but there we go. Round number 29, another eco, it seems, for NiP. So Cloud9 should be able to bring us to round number 30. 15-14, and overtime is still a very real possibility here. As we go into this one, it's 2 CZs and a couple of PT50 to 5-7 for Pit. No nades, they have got a defuse kit though, and they're going to be rushing towards inside, but Shroud's ready, and he gets the first 2 with headshots, and the third as well, mowing them down, and he finds 4 kills in total. Pretty easy stuff. Let's not get too excited there. Unarmored players running towards you at a very tight choke point, but still does it with style. You definitely cannot. But,
okay, definitely. I was being a little bit facetious. I was joking around. You just throw the gauntlet on me. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
It's fine, Henry.
Well, no, it's all good. Yeah, another news. We have found.
Change the subject.
We have found Alex a wax salon. I just got the email confirmation,
lovely.
so it's fine.
As long as we find him a salon and we don't find a place to give me a prostate exam, it's fine.
It's great. It's all gonna be fine.
I may have to do it when I go back to Canada or something. I'm there for like a day. They can totally make it happen in a day.
Round number 30. It really has gone the distance. I thought NiP were going to run away with this one, but Cloud9 have fought back with some very, very solid counter-strike here on the T side. It's what they're more known for, I'd say. It's why they picked Train. The T side's always quite impressive for them. But a full buy for both sides. I guess not so much for NiP. If you look at it, only get a couple of kits and no warps here. They're actually struggling slightly. Overtime, a real possibility here.
Stewie's going to add an additional smoke onto the Ivy position. It's Freiburg alone this time that's going to hold it. Now, they're getting a little more aggressive in front of the A site, which we haven't seen as much. It's not in toward Popdog, as I mentioned. No one's done that this game. But it is going to be E-Box from Forest. And as soon as I mention it, they start to go a little bit more passive without any information. So make a liar of me, Henry. As the smoke goes to the left, Freiburg's going to flash back in. Good timing to do so, but they aren't going to push through on that. Now they're going to be in the open. He sprays in, tries to support his teammate with that spray and manages to get a kill from it. Forrest follows up, but down he goes to the hands of nothing. Skadoodle's got Forrest immediately after, and it's going to be a 2 versus 2. Both of them coming in from Sandwich. There's a smoke out in front. They'll drop the bomb over. Nothing's going to have it on the AK, and they're going to let Skadoodle try and push back around and get the AWP in a better position. And he's staring down toward Ivy, which is actually where the rotations are heading. They're at Old Bomb. And in fact, they'll stay there. They won't go as far as I expected. So that both players watch the default position from the Old Bomb train. And there's 15 seconds to work with. They're going to group up. It's an AWP up close. It's going to have to be nothing. Pre-fires in. Oh, if he had waited a second longer, he may have spotted. Skadoodle's waiting for Popdog. This gives GetRight a bit of a chance. Can't land the jump. And I think he's been heard. I think nothing's going to know, but it doesn't matter. Pith hits the shot. Good response from Skadoodle. Immediately back into him, and it's down to the 1 versus 1. GetRight knows where he is, and GetRight, he'll win the game for NiP, 16-14.
Lovely stuff there from NiP. Up against the ropes in terms of the buy, they managed to finish things off. A very tense round to close it out there. Back and forth to the very end. A 1v1. Skadoodle nailing the shot to make it a 1v1, but still can't finish things off there. A great game of Counter-Strike to kick off casting it today, Matt. I enjoyed it quite a lot. Doesn't look like Days did as much, but there it is. NiP go 2-0 here to open up their campaign here in Group B.
Yeah, that was a wild one. A bit of a Western, you could say, and we'll send it back. Well, Alex, you're not quite in position. If you'd like to just over a little bit.
On the marker.
Yeah. All right, we'll send it over to Alex and Dazed.
God, where was I supposed to go, Matt? God, you need to be more specific. Seriously, I was so confused.
Don't plug off the Xfinity.
You have to use your microphone.
Area. Yeah, don't block off the
There you
Xfinity
go.
area. My bad.
You're right, I'm sorry. There we go. This is, of course, brought to you by Xfinity. I'm Machine. He's Dazed. And it has gone right down to the 30 rounds. I was feeling OT vibes. You actually had C9 to win that one. And they could have, I mean, you were sitting there kind of flabbergasted by how close that was. You felt like NiP could have closed that out sooner.
Oh yeah, I thought it was over as soon as it was a 5-10 half. I gave C9 almost no chance to come back.
Did you fall into the trap that some analysts do when you see the first half and you go, oh, never mind, and then you just kind of you just switched off?
I really did.
You did?
Really did. Oh, absolutely. Especially after I saw the first T round that they had in Forest. Just, Stewie went. He was going to try to go through the 5-6 smoke. Just gets a nade, gets 2 USP shots when he has Tech 9 half armor, dies before he even sees anybody. I was like, all right, NiP's on just another level right now.
And they were. I mean, it looked so good, especially that first half. But to see how close that got, one frag away to taking that into overtime, didn't quite go the way of Cloud9.
Just too little too late, and a couple of those get-right clutches. I mean, but 2 1v1s against Skadoodle.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
he showed up big.
Talking of get-right clutches, I want to bring it up again. Let's actually summon that highlight because this was so damn impressive. I'm so glad X-Ray is off just to demonstrate the skill by which he spotted this. I don't know how well of a read that was and how much he actually saw. Dave, I mean, you had your nose pressed against the monitor. How much did he even see?
Well, I'm sure he saw him. Sometimes the spectator smokes, Alex, are a little bit different than what you see in game, whether you see them and they don't, or they see them and you don't. So I'm sure he saw a little bit of them. But the timing here on Skadoodle's screen, we're watching Skadoodle's screen right here. As soon as he takes his eyes off of Hell, he looks more towards the bomb train. GetRight had the perfect timing, absolutely impeccable timing, shoots him in the side of the head, and there's really nobody who you want more in a clutch situation than GetRight.
And he kept doing it. Round 30 to stop overtime from coming in. You got a 1v1. Skadoodle looked like he was going to be able to finish things off, and you can see just how close Cloud9 did get to doing so. Freiburg just taking a leaf out of GetRight's book, finding frags through smoke, and it did come right down to the wire. It was actually the plays of Skadoodle that got us into that scenario in the first place. But GetRight, time after time, even messing up his jump, still managed to bring that round home in the end.
Yeah, basically just a default right there from C9. You know, with Ivy pressure, they have the option to put 1 or 2 ladder or 2 middle. Sometimes you see a 1-2-2, sometimes you see a 2-1-2, which is very classic. And it was working well for them. And, you know, NiP really brought out the playbook on their T side, though.
With the stats up on screen, did you get what you bargained for from Cloud9? Did everyone that needed to perform? I mean, look at that. Nothing again alongside Skadoodle at the top of the scoreboard.
You know, Stewie on his CT side was having a lot of trouble at inside. On the T side, I thought he brought it back. He had a lot of important rounds, especially when he came out ladder that one round, got a couple kills. But at the end of the day, that really rough start from C9, you know, just on their CT side, 5-10, inner was a problem all game. And then when NiP finally switched it back to outside, they're still worried about inner. Their outside take, you know, those smokes and mollies behind it was really troublesome from C9. And I think one of the problems that C9 has is that sometimes they don't play those spots like so consistently. They see that and they might play it different from game to game, and it's hard to get that consistent vibe out of them.
And I mean, someone that was consistent, at least in the clutches, was Get Right. 23 frags, while they may not look the most mind-blowing with 78 ADR, the damage was being done at the right time.
Yeah, and I think we need a last kill on team percentage from Get Right. It'd probably be pretty high, right?
Last kill on team. That would be an intriguing stat for Get Right. There's no doubt about it.
No, I mean, not his greatest game statistically by any means, but the impact that he had was pretty strong. And one thing I want to point out was the buy that NiP did. I thought was really cool.
It's just the second round, right?
Yeah, I was telling you about that back in the green room. How I believe it was Freiburg dropped an AK to Forest. Forest bought head armor. Even though they did get pistol round on that first round, just trying to do economic damage. They didn't really get anything from it. You know, Force didn't get a kill. Actually, they got a Glock kill and a P250 kill, I believe. But it's really cool because even if you buy in that third round, yeah, Freiburg is going to have a Tech 9, but you still have 4 AKs. Freiburg can either go in first, bait for his teammates, you know, maybe get a good entry or just die but get the trade, or he could just wait to see how the round plays out and then pick up a gun.
I mean, it didn't necessarily work out this time, but you can see how little it cost NiP in the grand scheme of things.
No, it did. Yeah, and they still have that chance. Like if you have Forrest with an AK and head armor going up against, you know, he could arguably go up against an SMG.
He's up against FAMAS and SMG.
Yeah, exactly. So he could hurt their economy. Of course, you have a chance to always win the round, maybe increase your chances of getting another bomb plant to really set yourself up for the next round. I like it a lot. I thought it was really cool.
It's almost surprising just how little we see that, considering how little of a risk for the reward it is.
You know, NiP is probably the team I've seen it on the most, especially on Nuke. They used to do it a lot on outside. It's definitely been around a while, but I think just teams going away from it, you know, I like to see that stuff. It's really interesting to see, and I like it a lot. Hellraiser used to do it a lot too, you know, Russian teams, but NiP probably does it the most out of anybody.
Maybe we'll see more from it in our next game as well. Let's bring up the groups though, so we get to see exactly how things are looking. It's FaZe that are managing to impress us so far, picking up a victory both versus Cloud9, and we have just seen them pick up a second as well. NiP joining them in the 2-0 club, and Heroic, after impressing and surprising with their win versus SK, have fallen in their second game of play. Of course, brought to you on the B stream. You'll be able to catch a whole lot of Heroic actually at twitch.tv/ESL_CSGOB. Up next, we're going to be seeing FaZe go do battle with NiP. So that should be very intriguing. We have just seen them get made sweat by Cloud9, and now we're going to be seeing what FaZe can do after our break. It's going to be our third game of the day coming up very quickly after our break. So do not go anywhere, and we'll be back with more NiP action after the break to see if they can go ahead and jump on in and get another win on the board here for IEM.